Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to break down all of the gear that I use to assemble my EOS R6 small rig setup. Links to all of the products that I will be talking about will be down in the description. And if you guys have any helpful tips, maybe something that you think that I should put on here that I don't already have on here, please let me know down in the comments below. It would greatly help me as well. So basically the rig that I have right here is for a lot of my commercial use. I've never actually used this camera rig in order to film a wedding. Usually when I film a wedding, I just keep the camera, the lens, a monopod plate, as well as a hot shoot microphone, the Rode that I'm actually attached to my camera now here recording. So this isn't what I normally use for a wedding gear, but this is something that I do normally shoot when I have a commercial client. So sort of like a lifestyle brand, this is exactly the gear that I'll be using for one of those shoots. And so what's cool about the EOS R6 small rig cage is that it already comes pretty intact, of course, but it comes with this nice little thing. I think this is a really new feature that small rigs included in their small rig cages. You know, it allows you to actually use this screw to screw directly into the camera. But I'm not going to use that. It's just for looks for now. I have with me, I don't actually have it with me. So I am actually going to use this. I thought I had a screwdriver on my desk, but I don't. So I'm going to use this actually to go ahead and mount the camera onto the small rig cage. So it fits in here pretty nicely. And let me just make sure we got all of those things in there. All right, and then it should fit comfortably. And then we can just go ahead and screw that down. We'll make sure it's all nice and tight. So one thing that I noticed about the small rig cage for the EOS R6 compared to the Sony a7 III small rig cage that I have is that unfortunately there's not a lot of screw mounts that are on the top. But alternatively, I have purchased a cheese plate, I think that's what they're called actually, by Small Rig, that I can actually mount directly on top of here to give me a couple more screws and mounts for me to attach my monitor mount as well as the top handle onto this cheese plate mount. But yeah, that's just for visual reference, and I'm just going to go ahead and continue to tighten this down and pick up my mess. And I'm gonna actually go ahead and attach the cheese plate going on to the small rig plate. So let me just make sure I put the right screws in. I have this little Allen wrench key thing. That's the wrong size. So I try not to tighten these down too much because I don't want to strip the actual small rig screw. But as you can tell now that I have that cheese plate on there, I'm able to attach something to the front of the small rig plate as well as on the top, and that you'll see here in a sec. So going on to our monitor, this isn't the most expensive monitor on the market right now, but it is a pretty, I wouldn't say the most affordable one either. So this is the Feel World 4K. The reason I got this one is because it's got touch display as well as a built-in an SD card port to where you can import your own LUTs. And the histograms that I use are built into the Feel World 4K, and that's why I use this one. But I'm not going to put this on quite yet. I'm going to do this actually when I have a little bit more balance. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw on the lens. This is the new Canon 24-70 RF mount, which I actually haven't gotten to shoot a ton of content on because I just recently got it probably about 2 weeks ago. But so far it's been absolutely amazing. The stabilization actually is really good, as from what I can tell, running and gunning with content that I shoot. So now that the lens is attached, I'll go ahead and throw on the monitor. And what I do with the monitor is I stick it on the actual front part of the cheese plate to where it's not in the way of me in my plate for the top handle. So this one's a little bit tricky, so I'm just gonna have to do this real tight and fast. Normally it's not this hard, but I guess I'm camera shy. All right, now that we have the monitor attached, I'll go ahead and throw on this battery. Like so. Now we are starting to get that small rig feel. And going on next, we're going to go ahead and throw on this top handle. So for this one, I'm just going to finger tight the screws as much as possible, and then I'll go ahead and adjust the actual grip going on with the key. Now that we have most of the small rig assembled, I'm just gonna go ahead and flip it upside down and attach this other plate. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my key back onto the small rig and just gonna line these screws up again. Balances pretty well upside down. That's pretty cool. All right, now that we have this, normally this is where I tie in my mini HDMI, but unfortunately it's hooked up here to where I can see visual reference, but normally that's when I would attach my small HDMI port here. We can't forget the variable ND. This is made by K&F. It's pretty good. It works for me, so, and then I would just go ahead and throw that on there. All right, now the camera is all rigged up. I have this extra handle. I don't typically use this, but sometimes it is a good another point of contact for me on my camera. So I'll just go ahead and throw this on for visual purposes. All right, and there it is. This is a EOS R6 rig with a small rig. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about this small rig build for the EOS R6. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.